Laronke, are
So,
you ready, please?
are you ready, please?
Great.
Laronke, can you hear
Olaronke,
me?
can you hear? Hello, Olaronke, can you hear me at your end?
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So let me just take the profile on behalf of Olaronke. It seems she's having a network disturbance at her end. So after I take the profile, you'll be set to begin, ma. So, Elisa James is a qualified voice coach, an entertainer, a speaker, a presenting CEOs, managers, and business trainers give a dynamic, engaging, and entertaining presentation both on stage and on camera. With over 30 years in the entertainment industry, 20 years in the coaching and speaking arena, Elisa helps business leaders sound like a leader and present like a pro. Elisa's mission is to help thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs grow their business and increase their revenue by bringing their message to a greater audience via public speaking on stage and on camera. She works with frustrated executives who are tired of not making an impact when they speak and are ready to learn how to engage, inspire, and ignite their audience to action during training events. Elisa helps business clients be more effective, confident, and skillful at public speaking, whether training their staff at the office, presenting projects to new clients, or addressing their staff or colleagues in the boardroom. This also helps our clients with the secret formula to grow their businesses through public speaking, both on stage and on camera. Having supported hundreds of business owners successfully navigate the waters of becoming a dynamic, successful, and effective public speaker, Elisa brings a unique perspective and award-winning knowledge and expertise to help business leaders create their own digital legacy using their most powerful tool, their voice and presentation skills. Leaders, make welcome Mrs. Elisa James as she takes over this session. Thank you very much, ma. Very honored to have you here with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kingsley. That was beautiful. Hi, everyone. My name is Elisa James, and I'm a public speaking coach. I'm going to take you through a little presentation tonight called The Voice of a Leader. I also call that the sound of leadership. It's so lovely to be here. So let me just jump right into the training. And then during the training, I'll also give you a little heads up about me as well. So I'm going to start sharing the screen. And what I'd like to ask you all is to make sure that you can actually see it. Let me just get that straight from the start. Now, just look, we're going to type in the chat as well, because this is going to be an interactive presentation. So what I'd like to do is just make sure that you can see and hear me okay by typing in the chat. You can see it. Fantastic. I want to see your yeses down here. So tell me what your name is, and then you can see and hear me okay. I'd love to see it. Just type it in the chat. See it? You can see it? You can see it? Fantastic. Lovely to have you here. Now, great. You can use the chat throughout, and I will be doing some Q&A right at the end. And I believe there's a question. I'm sorry, there's a little break at about in about 30 minutes time. Fantastic. Welcome. Thank you. It's so lovely to have you here. So this is called The Voice of a Leader. And this is specifically for business speakers. And there are 7 habits that I'm going to go through or take you through this afternoon, morning for you and this evening for me. And I call them 7 habits for highly effective speakers. And the reason is I've got 7 little tips that are really going to help you understand how to analyze your own speaking voice patterns and what you can do to improve that. And I call this where the power of your voice meets the power of your message. Because think about it, everything we say is being colored by the way that we sound every single day. So you're going to learn to have a new set of ears by the time you're finished with this training today. So have a look here. If you look on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a lot of people that are very disengaged. When we're speaking on stage, on podcast, on camera, wherever we're speaking, the number one reason that we're going to be successful is to know how to engage an audience. Super important. You don't want people looking at their phones or walking out of the room. It's very disruptive, of course, for the speaker, but the audience will never hear anything or understand or be able to implement anything if you don't get them engaged straight away. So what we're looking for is this. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see what we actually want. You'll see people engaging, smiling, raising their eyebrows, being engaged in the content. Ways and means that we people all the time. So you're going to find out 7 little steps here. Can everybody see the slides okay? You're all good? They're all clean and good? You can see it? Fantastic. Now, leaders don't sound like leaders. Some leaders actually don't sound like leaders if the sound of their voice is turning people off. You might not like the sound of your voice, and maybe other people don't either. And I don't mean being picky or too judgmental about it, but if there's something annoying about the quality of the speaking voice that you're using, it may make people switch off. And we're going to look at that tonight, specifically the sound of your voice. Make sure everyone's microphones are muted so we don't have all the extemporaneous noises going on. So would you mind be good to mute? Mute your microphones, everybody. Don't just, somebody's got a lot of noise like leaders. If you can't project powerfully when you're public speaking, some people just have so weak and airy a voice. Please mute your microphones, everyone. Thank you. If you can't project powerfully, it's going to be very hard for some people to hear you at the back of the room. Also, if you get nervous when you're public speaking, you're not going to sound like a leader. And if you hate watching yourself on camera or listening to yourself on audio, it's also going to be very hard for you to be that strong leader too. You might sound unsure or unconfident of yourself, and that is not going to make you sound like a leader. Sometimes when we're speaking, oh my goodness, we're going to have to mute people's microphones. Let me see if I can actually do this.
Okay, try muting from
can
your.
you
No, can't do it
yeah,
from here. Just try. Thank you.
There we go. Let me see if I can mute.
Please, please mute your mics once you join. Please mute your mics.
Yeah, I can't. There's no mute button on that one for whatever reason. Oh, here we are. Asked to. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Now we're good. Nice. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, when there's thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, when there's a lot of noise, it's very hard for people to pay attention, of course, and then really focus on what we're doing. So great. Let's move on. So what we're looking at today, this is all about your voice and getting you out there in the training today. You're going to learn how the way we speak actually dictates to others how we are perceived as leaders or not. You're also going to learn how to break through any blockages to self-expression, because that's the very first thing that people hold themselves back when they have some sort of blockage to their self-expression. So for instance, if they're underconfident, that's going to really shine through in the way that they are speaking. Your mindset absolutely shows through your vocal sound, and the best secret to instantly get rid of nerves is going to be covered in the program as well. Does anyone here have any problems with public speaking? Do you get nervous? Put in the chat here if you get nervous when you're public speaking. I would love to know, because that's something that we're going to cover tonight. Yes, yeah, fantastic. Oh, great. Yeah. Look, it happens to so many people, okay? You do get nervous. Yeah. So many people get nervous because their mindset and their psychology is just flipped around a little bit. Fantastic. So I know that you're in the right place, guys. So the secret to getting rid of nerves is in this training today. I'm also going to teach you the clear patterns of leadership so you can start to speak in a different way. Now, my mission as your coach is to give you the tools to find your voice so you can speak with power, clarity, and confidence when you're on stage or on camera or on podcast. Who here wants to do a podcast or a stage presentation of some sort? Or maybe you want to start a YouTube channel. Put in your goals here. What is your goal? Where do you want to use your voice? Share it in the chat. Do you want to start a podcast? Would you like to do videos on social media or on YouTube? Or would you like to do stage presentations or maybe boardroom presentations? Pop it in the chat. Come on. I want to hear what your goals are as a leader. How do you want to impact the world? Which platform are you going to use? I would like to do, Kingsley said, I would like to do videos on social media and boardroom presentations. Fantastic. Make sure when you pop in, guys, you turn your mics on mute first thing. Stage and boardroom presentations. Okay, a second. Let's get people on mute again. We need to mute everybody. Kingsley, couldn't you please, sweetie, just what? Stage presentation, boardroom presentation, social media, great. Somebody wants to start a video series on social media, stage and boardroom presentations, videos and social media. Fantastic. You guys are all in the right place. That's wonderful. Great. Yep, that's okay. Yep, great. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, we've got to keep those mics muted for now because there's a lot of noise in the background. So here's how my 5-step system works. And I do this with all of my clients. Number one is the psychology behind your vocal sound. Number two is making sure that you have control over your breath when you're speaking. Because when we're out of control, when we're a bit nervous, that breath just completely goes out of the window. It's super annoying and it can really affect the way that you're speaking. So we want to make sure that we can ground those nerves. Let me just mute another microphone here. There's a couple of noise microphones here. My goodness me. There we go. Hopefully all of those were muted now. All right, great. Number 3 is the power of sound, the aesthetics of speaking. In other words, how you sound when you speak. Then number 4 is projection training and vocal care for leaders. And number 5 is preparation and presentation skills. Now, all of these things are super important, but we're going to dive into one of the most important things tonight. And that is number 1, the psychology behind the sound. Okay, I think I've muted another microphone. Okay, fantastic. Now, those of you who don't know who I am, maybe you haven't seen my YouTube channel, maybe you haven't seen me on social media. My name is Elisa, and I've been on stage and on camera for more than 35 years. I have a lifetime of experience, study, and training, but my approach to public speaking and presentation training is really holistic, because the way that I teach has to incorporate the whole person, the psychology, the breath, the body, the voice, the belief systems. You really have to attack every single angle, because otherwise those people that it said today that they're nervous, that's going to really stuff up your stage presentation or your video presentation. You won't be able to stand there and be the strong, confident self if you're nervous and you're not thinking straight. So this is where I spent the majority of my life for over 30 years. And it was on stage, as you can see. I've done plays on the right-hand side with musicals like Mary Poppins and Sound of Music and things like that. I've sung in front of, 20,000 people worldwide. I've done TV shows for Channel 7, Channel 9, all the major stations, short films. I do corporate videos, lots of things like that. I spend a lot of my time on stage and on camera. So when I teach people these days, I teach all of my clients that are motivational speakers, trainers, entrepreneurs, lots of different people. I teach them from a holistic perspective based on my experience for 35 years as a performer. But also along the way, I ended up gathering 3 different degrees so I could learn more about my voice and how to help other people. So I have a voice degree, a master's in voice, and this is how I help all of my clients these days. And I work with loads of big people like Tony Robbins and Tia Harveka. I work with lots of organizations that have great impact around the world because all of these people, as you can see, need voice training. They need speaker coaching, and they need to be on stage sometimes in front of thousands of people using their voice, which is their best asset. So you're in really, really good hands today. Today, it's all about you and how you're going to make an impact in business. Now, you might be aware of Gary Vee. Is anyone here a fan of Gary Vee? I absolutely love him myself. I love him because he is just so authentic and so real. He's very approachable. And he said in this wonderful event that I went to about 2 years ago, he said, your voice makes an impact every single day. And he wanted to make sure that we were going to do the same thing. Do you see this beautiful little voice print in the middle? That's actually your voice print. It's me actually saying, I love you. And you can see here by the way that the shape of the voice print is, that's what our voice looks like in a computer system. Your voice is unique. It's like your thumbprint and your fingerprints, and your voice is your digital legacy. It's super important that you understand how important your voice is in the world. So I'd like to really inspire you to find a way today, make a decision, make a commitment to leave a digital legacy for this world behind. Because my job is to make sure that I can help you guys become a leader and have your voice heard on different platforms. So what we're covering today in the next 7 steps, make sure you've got a pen and paper so you can write things down, is the speech patterns of a leader, the mindset of a leader, and the ears of a leader. Why? Because when people don't listen, you're not going to make an impact. If people ask you to speak up, you're not going to sound like a leader. And if you're afraid of public speaking and don't know where to start, you're going to be shying away from that spotlight as well. So here we're going to dive into a 7-step system. And the solution, of course, is to learn how to sound like a leader every time you speak. I want you to be able to make an impact. I want you to build your skills as a public speaker and leave a powerful message. So here we're going to dive into the 7 steps. Now, I want you to be using the chat to ask any questions when we're going through these steps, and we're going to actually be doing little exercises in the chat as well, okay? So I know that the chat is working. I can see you guys are here. We're going to go into habit number 1. Habit number 1 is nature versus nurture. When you understand that our voice is part of our body, of course, and some of the body we can't change. So for instance, the nature part of our voice would be the nose, the shape of the nose, the shape of the teeth, the shape of the mouth, the shape of our vocal folds and how big our body is. None of that we can actually change. But there's so many parts of the voice that we can change. How much projection we use, how much resonance in the front of the face we use, how good our articulation is, how much airflow we allow through our vocal folds. There are so many areas of the voice we can change. Now, some people don't like the way they sound. And so they say, oh, I'm too afraid of public speaking because I hate the way I sound. So they won't speak up. But here's the thing. If you don't like the shape of your body, you'll probably do something about it, right? You go on a diet, or you'll go to the gym and lose weight, or you go running or exercising every day, you'll eat less. If you want to change something about our body, we actually make the effort. Now, actors and singers work their vocal instrument all the time to improve the sound of their voice. There is no reason why everybody can't do exactly the same thing. Yeah, Kingsley said definitely. Elase, if I got that right, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Wow, yes, it's, you have no idea how much I'm going to show you how to do. What I want you to do is this before we go on the break, because this is analyze and record, and I'll show you how to do this. You're going to grab your phone up if you're not on your phone. Otherwise, if you are on your phone, please do this later. But here's how you're going to do it, and I'm going to type it in the chat so you really get a clear understanding of this. You're going to do a 1 minute recording. And I want you to do a recording in 2 different ways. Number 1 is read out loud any content. You can grab a book and you read it out loud for 1 minute and you listen to it back. You will start to hear what other people hear in your voice. See, when we're speaking, we actually hear and feel and experience our voice from the bone conduction inside our head. So when we actually experience our voice from inside our head, we feel and experience a voice in a very different way to what the audience does. So the audience is only hearing it directly from our mouth to their ears. So it's very important that we record our voice and listen back to what other people are experiencing. Super important. So number 1, you're going to read out loud for 1 minute and listen to it. And I'll show you what to look out for in a moment. Now, number 2, if you can do the second part of the exercise by yourself after the training tonight, I want you to then speak off the cuff. This is an expression that we use for speaking with no preparation. Speak off the cuff for 1 minute into the phone. So for example, all you need to do is, if I wanted to speak off the cuff for 1 minute, I could tell you what I did today and all the things that I filled up my day with. I would just be speaking directly into the phone, and then I would listen to it back and write notes. Now, what do you think you might hear in your own voice when you do these exercises? Do you have any idea? Like, can I ask you a question? Let me just mute this noisy mic that just came in here. Let's mute. Kingsley, can you get on top of this, please? It won't mute on my end for whatever. I can't mute these mics.
I'm really sorry.
Thank you, sweetheart. Oh, that's great. Yeah, there's somebody's mic is still on. Okay. What do you think you would hear in your own voice that might be distracting to your message? Let me give an example of what I mean. If you use a lot of fillers, for example, if you go blah blah blah, I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking blah blah blah. If you're filling up all the sentences with noise in between your words, it's very distracting to the audience. Filler words are things like so and like kind of like therefore. If we're just using too many words in the middle, it muddies up the message. We want to make sure that we eliminate our fillers. When we eliminate the fillers, when we're speaking extemporaneously, which means off the cuff, when we're speaking with no notes or from no script, we need to make the message clean. It's very important. So if you recorded yourself for 1 minute, just telling me what you did today, what do you think you would hear? Would you hear clarity? Would you hear good articulation? Would you hear a good, clean, projected tone? Would you hear the sound of leadership? Or would you hear maybe mumbling or rambling or noise or a really throaty sound or a really high pitch or a really low pitch? What do you think you might hear in your voice? Some people speak very nasally. There's all sorts of things that can go on with the voice, and it's only habit. There's nothing wrong with your voice. It's just a habit. And now includes unlimited minutes. Okay, awesome. So put in the chat right now, what is it about your voice that you like or you dislike? I would love to hear about your voice. There's got to be a reason that you're interested in public speaking. Pop it in the chat. I want to hear it. I want to see it. What do you like and what do you dislike already right now about your own voice? And have you ever recorded it and listened back to it? I'm sure that you have. Pop it in the chat. I want to see it. I can see the chat. Come on, let's go, guys. Let's go. Pop it in the chat. I will wait. Ah, great. So we've got mine sounds like a male own. That's okay. You're allowed to sound like a male if you're a male, but I don't know if you are a male or a female. So that might be too low if you're a female. We've got, I speak quite clearly, but too fast sometimes. Yes, too fast stops people from listening. They can't keep up with you. You have to make sure that you slow down. At least give gaps in between your speed sentences. That's the most important thing. So if you speak really fast for a minute, that's fine. You need to stop so people can catch up with their brain when they're listening to you. Great. Then we've got, when I listen to my recorded voice, I'm surprised I sound that nice, good job. The fact that it's not so firm or bold. Oh, I dislike the fact that it's not as firm or as bold as I want. Right. So Kingsley, you can change the sound of that. You might need to ground your voice, project your voice, use a little bit more thick vocal fold, closure of your vocal folds, and project that sound a little bit more forward. Female, okay, I get it. So you sound like a male. All right, that means that you need to raise your pitch and add a little bit more airflow. That's all you need to do to lighten up the tone, to make it sound less male dominant and more lighter and up into the female region. Because girls normally have a higher pitch than males. Males have a bigger instrument and their pitch is much low. Florami says, I like the sound of my voice and the flow of my words. However, I don't like my diction and you're working on it. Fantastic. Good on you. Mariam says, my voice shakes once and I miss a word. That's nerves. So I'm going to take you through a little exercise today that will really help you get rid of that nervousness. Great. People sometimes ask me if I have guitar when I send voice notes, then I have to like, wow. Okay. That means this is Olajida. And then okay, this is the next one. That means if you've got a lot of phlegm on your voice, it means that you're probably eating too much dairy or something that you're allergic to that's creating mucus in your system. That's going to be super important for you to sort of fix. Another reason, I have to listen to your voice to try to figure out exactly what's going on. You're very welcome to send me a voice recording after this, by the way. I'd love to let you know what my thoughts are on that. If it's an actual issue or whether something it could be fixed very quickly, because some people have damage and they sound sort of croaky all the time just because their voice is damaged because they're not using it correctly. But other people might just simply, they're not drinking enough water or they're eating the wrong food, so it's collecting too much mucus around the system, which interferes with the vocal folds. So it could be that. And we need to mute those mics again. I forget the next point to say or end up using fillers. Yes. Now that issue, again, is nerves. It's just nerves. Let me mute again. We've got noise. There you go. Then what have we got here? I don't like that I speak fast and then I end up stammering, even though I'm not usually, again, this problem, I I speak too fast and I end up stammering, even though I'm not a stammerer in person. That again is because you've gone into fight or flight and you're a bit nervous. Here's the thing, I'll go into the nerves in a moment, but when we're nervous, the first thing that happens is we forget what we want to say. This is the biggest reason that we have to get really over our actions. That can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on if you're out of control with your emotions or whether you're using your emotions for passion and engagement when you speak. If it's the latter, you're good. If it's the former, your emotions are getting out of control, then you're in a bit of trouble. So we need to, again, calm down the nervous system. I get off point and I don't like it. Yes, when we ramble, we lose our focus. And guess what? The audience loses focus too. Now we've got Basirat says, my voice is very audible and clear, but I speak too fast and I don't know how to slow down. Slow down. You can do it. I stammer when I'm not sure of what to say. It's much better if you shut your mouth and take a breath, honestly, and calm yourself down so you stop stammering. You are in control, nobody else. And it's all up to you to calm your body down. Okay, so let's get into that. It sounds like everybody needs that help here. People complain that they can hardly hear my voice. Now, Habib, you need to learn how to project. It is super, super important. Great session so far. We're going to break in 3 minutes. Fantastic, joining with the same link. Okay, great. So let's move into the next step, because we're going on a break in 3 minutes time. And I want to do this. Now, I want you to pop in the chat, rate your voice. I want you to rate your clarity between 1 and 10. 7 is super clear. 1 is a bit rambly. Number 2, so rate your clarity. How clear are you and audible when people hear you? Number 2, rate the strength and the power in your voice. Can you project your voice, or do you speak very quietly and whispery? Rate your projection. Rate your projection between 1 and 10. Okay? And the last one, rate your confidence levels between 1 and 10. 10 being the most and 1 being the least. Great. So I want you to know that, and you know that you can actually save the chat so you can keep all of these notes afterwards tonight. Okay, fantastic. As long as you know how you rate, clarity, projection, and confidence is super important, because you need to know where you need to lift the bar, raise the bar. Projection is 9. Fantastic. Fantastic. We got 6. We got clarity 6. Great. So we're going to rate. You've got to rate your voices, and I believe that we're going to go on a break. I speak calmly unless I'm agitated, and you don't need to be agitated. You need to breathe and ground and stay calm. Great. We've got confidence 4. That needs to be raised. Good. They're coming in thick and fast here. Confidence 4, clarity 6, projection 5, clarity 8, projection 8, confidence 9. Woo! Awesome. Go, girl. Clarity 6, confidence 8, confidence 6 out of 10, clarity 5 out of 10, projection 7 out of 10. Lots of room for improvement here. Confidence 7, sometimes 9. Great, great, great. Fantastic. I'm really proud of you guys for doing this work tonight. Fantastic. Now, I'm going to hand it back over to Kingsley, because I believe that we need to go on a very, very quick break. And then we're going to come back. As you can see, we've got 4 more habits left. We've got vocal mentors for business, which is super important for you guys. Reframe and change the game, which will help you get over nerves. Hollywood technique will also help you reframe and get over your nerves. These are super important. And the last one is enthusiasm and how to rein that in. Okay, so I'm going to hand it over to Kingsley for a second to go into a break, and then we'll be back in 5.
Thank you very much. It's been an amazing session so far. We are deeply sorry for all the HS. Deeply, deeply sorry. So leaders will be going on a 5 after now. Just join with link you use in joining in
Using the same
now.
link.
In 5 minutes, we'll begin the next session, the second session. Thank you so far. Yes.
Fantastic. I
Using
look
it.
forward to it. Okay. Thank you. I'll see you all in 5 minutes. Bye.